The 49th Toronto International Film Festival is now underway with all the red carpets, all the premieres. It's also a great time to showcase homegrown talent and Canadian film. Here with his list of must-see Canadian movies at TIFF this year is Rad, our film critic. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm so exhausted. It's
Are
TIFF
you?
time. Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a no sleep time.
It's a no sleep time. I don't know if you heard yesterday, Tragically Hip was out there. They screened their new movie and there was a whole sing-along and everything. So wild times.
And your voice sounds pretty good after all that. So let's talk about which Canadian movies premiered at Cannes earlier this year and now are also playing at TIFF.
Yeah, I mean, so we had three Canadian films at Cannes, you know, one of them being David Cronenberg's The Shrouds, where he's using his typical kind of genre film to explore the death of his wife. Guy Madden's comedy that's called Rumors, starring Cate Blanchett, being absolutely hilarious. And then my favorite among them is Universal Language, Matthew Rankin's Universal Language, which was actually just selected as Canada's submission for the Oscars in the international film category. Cool. And this is a film about this magical liminal space where Winnipeg and Tehran are merged together, and it's a film about just there people trying to find connection. Really, really lovely. One of my favorite films of the year, really, not just among these selections. So we're not going to dwell too much on the Canadian films we already talked about from Cannes, but definitely keep that one in mind.
Keep it in mind. So let's talk now about the Canadian films debuting at TIFF. Let's start with Seeds.
Yeah, so Seeds, you're going to love this one.
Okay.
Because this is all about the fun. It's written, directed by Tia Horn, who actually stars in this. She basically wrote herself a role where she could just like really just let out all her comedic talents. You might recognize Tia Horn as the deer lady from Reservation Dogs, anyone who's seen that. Here she's playing an influencer who has to go back to her res, and already that's just like already a great comic premise because she's on res with the spotty Wi-Fi trying to post her influencer daily content, and her community's like, what are you doing? But then she discovers that one of her sponsors, the Seed company, they're up to no good, and they're kind of using her to whitewash their sins, and then the movie kind of goes Texas Chainsaw from there, which is why I think you'd love it.
Really?
I mean, you're made for that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next up, let's talk about Measures for a Funeral. What's this?
So this is, imagine Tar, remember like the Cate Blanchett movie, Lydia Tar? Imagine if that was actually about women's space in classical music as opposed to a bunch of whataboutisms and in terms of conversations about gender identity and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's actually looking back at the career of Kathleen Parlow, a woman in Canada's classical musical space from a century ago, who really she was really prominent, but we're processing her life through this young woman named Audrey, who is researching and investigating Kathleen Parlow's life and the space she held up in a patriarchal system, and she's processing that through her own life and her own family's history and her own family's struggles with the patriarchy. So really beautiful, thoughtful, haunting way to explore that, and it all builds up to this incredible concert where they perform one of Kathleen Parlow's lost opuses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet Baby Angel. I'm not calling you that. That's the name of the Sweet Baby Angel. That's the name of this film we're going to talk about.
This is a film from Newfoundland, Sweet Baby Angel, and it's about a lot of pearl clutching in Newfoundland, actually. Not that kind of pearl clutching, but look, this is a movie about a young woman who the whole community kind of attacks after they discover her Instagram account where she poses risque photos of herself, right? Artful, risque photos. This is how she expresses herself. The community comes after her, not just for that, but also for the relationship she has with another woman. And it's just really a really thoughtful movie about kind of the tensions, tensions regarding identity, politics, all these tensions on the surface that are informed by the history of this place.
Next up, let's talk about You Are Not Alone, a French-Canadian rom-com.
Yeah, so this is, in the programmer for this movie at TIFF, Norman Wilner, he kind of said it best. This is my old colleague, Norman Wilner. He said that this is basically punch-drunk love meets Under the Skin. And that's kind of perfectly describes it, because like Punch Drunk Love, it's about two lonely people awkwardly meeting with each other. It's a cute rom-com, but then there's aliens abducting people. Aliens abducting people.
Left turn.
Yeah, specifically they're abducting lonely people. So this romance is to help make sure that the aliens don't get away with yet another lonely person who won't be missed. So, that whole title, You Are Not Alone, is a very playful way to be both rom-com, but also,
I see it.
Also abduction movie, yeah.
What about Village Keeper?
Village Keeper, this is the kind of movie we don't really see that often. It's about a mother in Toronto's Lawrence Heights neighborhood. It's a movie that's dealing with kind of Black mental health. It's about how she is really strongly like trying to protect her kids because of these lingering traumas. And it's a movie about kind of the joy and relief we find in community. And one of the scenes that I really appreciated about this is there's a scene where she goes out to Toronto Caribbean Carnival. And I've never seen Toronto Caribbean Carnival, treated in that way, where this is a place where you can escape your baggage and your trauma and find community and joy.
Rad. Thanks for the tee up. Amazing. Enjoy the Toronto International Film Festival.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.